Hey y'all, welcome to my channel, Sandy Toe Tarot, or welcome back if you've been here before. I am doing another yes or no pick a card reading today. It's been a couple weeks. I try to do a couple a month because you guys have new questions all the time. I'm in the mood to read today, so I did choose 5 piles, which gives you more options. Maybe you have 5 questions, or maybe you just like having the options. Either way, I have some time today, so I decided to do 5 piles. I'm not going to do a long introduction. Most of my people, my subscribers and people that visit here already know how to do a pick a card reading. Basically, you just think of your question that can be answered with a yes or no, and then you choose the pile that's speaking to you, pile 1 through 5. Some people choose based on the number. Some people choose based on the stone that's on the pile. Some people choose based on the timestamps, which I will put in the description box below. They find some synchronicities in the numbers there. How else? Some people will just close their eyes, and then when they open their eyes, whichever pile that they're drawn to is the one that they choose. What's most important is to not overthink it and just go with your gut instinct. So, just so you know, on pile 1 is a dyed agate. It's hot pink, my favorite color. I think everybody knows by now. On pile 2, a malachite. On pile 3, an amethyst rough cut. On pile 4, a citrine that's kind of smooth but pretty. And on pile 5, a sodalite. So make your decision and then click on the timestamp in the description box below, and that will take you directly to your reading, and I will see you there. Welcome back, my friends. If you chose pile 1 for your messages for the yes or no pick a card reading, these are going to be your messages. So pile 1 did have that hot pink dyed agate on it. Love it. So colorful. Okay, so in the beginning, I am just going to pull out the cards, and I will tell you whether it's a yes or no first. Sometimes it can be a maybe, so I will warn you about that. But I will get that answer first. And then there's always a little bit more information. There's a little bit of a story there sometimes. Sometimes that can be pretty specific. Sometimes it's vague enough to be for anybody who could be watching it. But if you're just interested in finding the answer to your question, I'll do that first, and then I'll go into reading the story. All right. So for pile 1, we got an Ace of Cups, 7 of Cups, 4 of Pentacles in the Radiant Rider Waite, and then for the Druid Craft Tarot, we got a 7 of Cups. That's twice. That's a double down on that 7 of Cups. And we got, Cernunnos corresponds with the Devil in the Rider-Waite deck, but the meaning of it is a little bit different for the Druid Craft Tarot. So just first of all, is this a yes or no? It is a yes. And the thing that tips it over the edge for me is this Ace of Cups, which talks about a new beginning emotionally, whether it's a new love, and it can be a new love, and I definitely see that that's something that could be happening here. Or whether it's just a renewed emotional state in an already existing relationship, or whether it's just yourself, being in a renewed emotional state, maybe after a period of being a little bit blah, a little bit depressed, coming out of that and noticing again how beautiful life is. This talks about a very euphoric state on an emotional level. It's like when you are first in love, those first days of romance when it is so exciting and everything just looks a little bit more optimistic, a little bit brighter. The grass is greener, the sky is bluer, the birds sing louder, or you notice it more, right? It's being in a state of euphoria, is what it is. But look, there's a couple of things going on here in this reading. So Cernunnos is, like I said, kind of corresponds to the devil, major arcana for Capricorn in the Rider-Waite deck. And incidentally, this is the only major arcana that you have in this reading. So if it weren't for this card, this reading could go to a no really quickly. But in this particular instance, I think it is kind of a caveat. So in Druid tradition, Cernunnos is the lord of the animals, the herdsman, the hunter, that guy. But like the devil card in the Rider-Waite, it does have an element of materialism. It's talking about mastery of the material world, which can have to do with money, but material world is not always just money. It's food, clothing, shelter. It's those things that sustain us here on earth, those things that are tangible, that we can touch, that everybody needs to survive. Can also talk about the animal passions. It's like because you notice the lovers down here. It can talk about being, again, in those first stages of a relationship and just enjoying each other, not only on an emotional level and just like a companionship level, but also on an intimate level, sexually, just enjoying each other. Because it's the first stages of the love affair. You're very excited about it. Now, and here's what this little bit of a warning is. This can become an obsession. Anything that is so good, and that's why, you know, the devil is the devil, right? Because it's great things that make us feel good. When you have plenty of money to pay all of your bills and then have some left over to do some fun stuff and to buy what you want, and you know, that feels really, really good in the beginning. Now, it's not everything. It's not the end-all, be-all, but especially if you come from a place of poverty, that feels really, really good. And that's why people can get addicted to money and to materialism. Same thing with sex. It feels really good in the beginning when you're with somebody and you just enjoy each other so much. But that can become an obsession. So, I do feel like this is saying yes to a new relationship. I also feel like for some of you, there's a couple things going on here. Okay, so you got this Seven of Cups twice, which can talk about delusion. It can talk about having a lot of options and not being able to choose. Having so many options that you cannot make a decision. And I've seen that come up with readings that have to do with romance before, particularly when people are young and particularly when people are attractive. They have a lot of options, and because they have so many options, it can make them sometimes make the wrong choice. Sometimes it can make them not make a decision at all and go for all of them. You know what I mean? And sometimes it keeps them from developing a really strong relationship with any one person because they have so many options. If they get into a relationship, it's good in the beginning, and then later on it starts getting bad. They're like, okay, well, never mind. I got other options. So it keeps them from becoming really committed in a relationship and really going for it, because relationships are not always fun and games. Sometimes there's some work that's involved. I mean, work is not really a good relationship, a good term in my opinion for relationships. It's not, a relationship shouldn't be work, but there is always going to be some conflict that comes up in a relationship, because you got two people with two different ideas, with two different backgrounds, with two different desires. They're coming together and they're trying to go through life together. So there's compromise that's going to be required in that. So there's always going to be conflict in relationship. Well, when these people who have so many options hit upon that, it's very easy for them to just say, okay, screw this, I'm going to go find another one. Okay, so for those people, I think this is a yes. I think this is a yes to you picking one, to finding one that you are so excited about that you want to see where it goes. You want to commit, or you at least want to try to commit. So that's for the yes for some people. So maybe for everybody, but definitely for some other people, this exciting new relationship is just happening. You are meeting somebody. You are in a new relationship. It's a renewal, or it's a renewal in a relationship. But it comes after a time of being a little closed off to romance and focusing too much on the material. Because you also, in addition to this devil, this is kind of also talking about security, financial security, and success financially. But if you notice, he's got his arms folded over this pentacle. There's this can kind of read as being closed off to love, right? Just being so focused on the material that you lose sight of the other things that are important in life. And there are, many things that are important in life. It's not just financial stuff and material stuff. Love is important too. And that's where some of you, I think, are coming from. You have been very focused on the material. Someone has come in that has made you say, oh, wait a minute, remember what it's like to love somebody, and remember what it's like to have that companionship and the romance and the fun and the relating, and you're just being reminded by somebody that life can be very beautiful out there outside of work and amassing wealth. If you were asking about romance, this is definitely your reading. It's a yes for something that's just started. If you're asking about if it's going to be a good relationship, it's a yes. If it hasn't come in yet, and you're asking about if it is going to come in, it is coming in for you. But for those that have made a decision, that you've had a lot of options and you've decided on one and you want to see where it goes, I think there's just this message for everybody here to watch the obsession, because it could become, don't let it lead to obsession. You want your relationships to be nice and healthy, and even when you're in the beginning throes of a relationship and it is so exciting, there are still other things going on in your life too. So don't lose your whole life to this relationship. Okay, I think I'm going to leave it there. Since we got love in this reading, I'm going to end up with an oracle from the Whispers of Love by Angela Hartfield, and the artwork is by Josephine Wall. And you will see in these cards that the artwork is just amazing. Really, really beautiful cards. All right, so what final messages do you have for pile one? Pile one, what final messages for pile one? Okay. Love makes the difference. Love helps heal past hurts and provides a sense of security and self-worth. Boy, there's a lot going on in these cards. Got two people in a boat here that looks like they're moving on to brighter days. You got music here represented, butterflies, transformation. Wow, love makes the difference. Okay. I think that that goes perfectly with that euphoric state there. Definitely a message for my people who have been focused on the material and are coming into a romantic relationship or opening themselves up to love. And it's even for those people who are committing to a relationship that have been kind of dating around and had a lot of options and has decided on one. It's for both of y'all. Love makes a difference, and that's what you guys are coming to. All right, that's all I have for my pile ones. Until next time, I'm sending you lots of light and love. Namaste. Welcome back, y'all. If you chose pile 2 for your yes or no pick a card reading, these are going to be your messages. And pile 2 did have the Malachite on it. I don't know if you can see that real well, but that's a pretty green stone. Heart chakra. All right. So the first thing I will do is figure out whether it's a yes or no. So if you just want to know the answer to your question, you can stop there once I tell you if it's yes or no, although I will warn you, sometimes it is a maybe. But then there's also a story that usually plays out with these cards. Sometimes that story can be for the collective. Sometimes it gets really specific. So you can stick around for the story if you would like. And if not, then at least you'll get your answer, yes or no. All right, so for pile 2, what do we have here? We got Strength, 6 of Cups, King of Cups, the Empress, and for the Druid Craft Tarot, just for additional messages, we got the 9 of Wands, and the Queen of Cups. Okay, this is a yes. What is it a yes to? It is a yes to whatever you have been working really hard on. 9 of Wands here. Hard work, battle worn, exhausted. Reaping the rewards of whatever it is that you have been working hard on, because you have the Empress here as well. And the Empress talks about abundance, a lot of abundance. Notice she's got wheat down here. So that's someone who has, now it can talk about creativity, it can talk about motherhood, it can talk about all of that, but it can also talk about the birth of creative ideas and reaping the rewards of the seeds that you have sown. And that's what's happening here. You've been working really, really hard on something, and it is paying off in a big way. The Empress card is about being abundant, completely abundant in all ways. It's not just money, although that could be part of it. It's abundant health, abundant wealth, abundant relationships, abundant fun, abundant adventure, abundant of a whole life, whatever it is that you want out of life. So it's just living in that place of knowing that you have everything that you could possibly want. I'm interested here in this piece of this reading. You have, first of all, you have the male and female of the same suit, King and Queen of Cups. So for me, that is always a relationship. Whether it's a same-sex or opposite-sex relationship, the King and Queen of the same suit in a reading, for me, is an actual relationship. Could be a marriage. Cups does talk about emotions, right? So this is my minor arcana for Scorpio. This is minor arcana for Cancer, for me. So this is very much water energy here. And the water signs are Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. So water signs are really, they're very emotional. They're very observant. They're very mysterious. They lead with their heart. They're good with relationships. They're the PR people of the zodiac, right? They get along with people very well. They know how to build relationships with people. They just happen to get people on a very emotional level and understand what drives them, what their needs are. And so they can get very deep in their relationships. Okay. You have the Strength card here, which is Major Arcana for Leo, which is a fire sign. Passionate, enthusiastic, interesting. And interesting because they've just been out on a lot of adventures and done a lot of stuff, right? But this Strength talks about feminine strength, tact and diplomacy, and not brute force, right? This woman is not taming the lion with her muscle. She is taming the lion with her feminine strength, her feminine wiles, tact and diplomacy. So what has struck me in this reading is how pronounced the feminine energy is here, and the masculine energy kind of sits back. You've got Queen of Cups, you've got Strength, you've got the Empress. All very feminine energy. The Empress card, it doesn't necessarily, I think in some readings it may have a Venus-Taurus connection. It's not necessarily Major Arcana for Taurus, but always reminds me of that. Kind of leans that way for me, which is earthy. And the earth signs are grounded, practical, stable, interested in the material things. Okay, so there you got water, fire, earth. What's missing? Air. So the air signs are Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. Mental, communicative, idealistic. Okay, this is going to be just for some of you guys, but I just cannot ignore what's happening with this bit right here. The feminine energy is so dominant here. It feels like this goal, or whatever was being birthed, this creative idea or whatever, it feels like it was being driven by the feminine in this relationship. Like she had the idea. She was the one that's done all the work. Not all the work, but most of the work. She has, been the one that has used her tact and diplomacy to develop relationships with the people that were needed to bring this idea to fruition. And I think in the process of all of this has been ignored a little bit, because if you notice, all these two, she's looking straight ahead. She's looking at her goal right here. These two women looking this way. This guy looking that way. And what's missing again? Communication. There's, these two are not communicating right now. Not, and they may be talking or whatever, but they're not communicating on a real, you know, I'm listening to you and you're listening to me level. So because of this, this is a definite, yeah, I'm still saying this is a yes, but I could not ignore this other message that was going on here, and I have to put this out there because I just feel like it's for somebody. Maybe a couple somebodies, but probably just one. Okay. This is definitely a yes for this big thing that you've been working on, that you're giving birth to. For it happening, it can be a child. It can actually be a child, quite frankly, because this is the card. The Six of Cups is called a card of childhood. It's a card of nostalgia. It's a card of looking back at the past wistfully and wanting to go back there, or wanting to enjoy some element of what you did in your childhood. It can be a card of somebody from your childhood coming back, but I'm not feeling that in this particular reading. What I feel like, okay, so like I said, it can be an actual child for some of you guys. The feminine, the woman, has been focusing on this, whatever this is, whether it's actually trying to get pregnant, or it's a creative idea that they've had to work real hard to make it work out, like they wanted to own a restaurant, or could be anything. Okay, well, it's happening, and it does make you guys, and I do feel like this person is in a relationship, so it does make you guys abundant, and it is good for you guys on a material level. But there has been a little neglect here on this relationship, and I think there's some nostalgia for, it's kind of like I miss the connection. I miss the love that we shared when we were poor, and we didn't have a thing to our name, but we were happy and we were connected and we had good times together and we had communication together. There's kind of a nostalgia for the old days when these people were like this, facing each other, instead of like this person doing this and this person just kind of being either not that interested in this or feeling a little bit left out in the cold. There's no other way to say that. They just feel a little bit left out in the cold, and they're missing the relationship piece of it. So all I'm saying is there's nothing that can't be healed here. There's nothing that can't be put back together. It's just a caveat for some of you that have been working really hard on something. Don't forget that there are other people in your life that want your time and attention, and maybe now that you have achieved some success with this, maybe it actually is a good time for you to say, you yourself to say, okay, wait a minute. I've been neglecting this a little bit. I need to get back to this relationship that has sustained me for a long time, and definitely has sustained me through this process of building whatever it is I've been building here. I kind of don't know which oracle to get to finish this up. It's kind of an odd, I'm just going to try an angels and ancestors here. You got to go where the cards take you. That's all there is to it. The story is the story. But that was fun. Thank you for taking me down that path. Okay, what final words of wisdom do you have for my pile twos here? Final words of wisdom for pile twos. Wisdom for pile two. Snake, shed old skin. Okay, so that's talking about a little bit of a transformation that's going on here. And maybe you are transforming from a workaholic to someone that is more balanced and takes time for other things besides working on this project, whatever it is. And it may be, quite frankly, you guys, if it is a child, I get it. Mothers can become, you know, they just, especially if you have trouble getting pregnant or whatever, you can become very, very focused on that. But that part is over. It's happened, and you're good on this piece of it, whatever this birth is. You're good on this piece of it. It's time to shed that skin. Okay, that part's over. So let's let that go, and then let's remember the other things that are going on in our life too. Okay, that's all I have for my pile twos. Until next time, I'm sending you lots of light and love. Namaste. Welcome back, my friends. If you chose pile 3, these are going to be your messages for the yes or no. Pick a card. Pile 3 did have the rough cut amethyst on it. All right, so I will get the answer first. That's the first thing I'm going to do, is try to figure out if this is a yes or no. I will warn you, sometimes it's a maybe. And then after that, if that answers your question, then you can move on. Or there's usually a story that is attached to it. Sometimes that story can be for the collective. Sometimes it gets really specific, so it might not be your message. So I just want to warn you about that. But anyway, I'm just gonna take the cards as they come. I'm gonna read them based on my intuition, because that's how you read tarot cards. And so let's just go. Let's see what we got. We got the Two of Cups, the Hermit card, the Knight of Swords, the Nine of Swords, and that's in the Radiant Rider-Waite. And then for the Druid Craft Tarot, you got the Six of Cups. On the last reading, got this. And you got the Eight of Cups. Yeah, this is a no. This is definitely a no. You've got 2 cards of retreat here. 1 card of some upsetting news coming into you. 1 card of Nine of Swords, meaning there's a lot of anxiety about this. Anytime you feel a doubt, that means don't. So this is definitely a no. For some of you, it can be a no to a fresh start. It can be a no to either a new relationship or a fresh start in an old relationship. Somebody coming back to you to offer something to you in the way of relationship. This is saying nope, don't do it. Actually, I think Spirit wants you to do something else, because you got the Nine of Swords here, which talks about, as I said, worry, anxiety, up at night, monsters under the bed. Now, sometimes this can talk about it being in your head. I don't feel that in this particular situation. I feel like it's not all in your head. I feel like the Knight of Swords, knights are always movement. So this could be something unexpected or something upsetting coming into your life. With the Knight of Swords, it can sometimes talk about a young person, usually a gentleman, young man, who's looking for a fight. It can sometimes talk about that. Rash, somebody who's rash, who hot-headed, doesn't think things through, is not really that stable, a little bit of a combative person. I feel like that might be what's going on here. Now, it can also just be things moving in really quickly, like something coming into you really quickly. This person may be from your past, coming back to you really quickly, and offering you something in the way of romance, and it just completely catches you off guard. So this Hermit card, Major Arcana for Virgo, is kind of talking about, first of all, don't make any sudden decisions on this. Go within. You need to retreat from the world, get some alone time, figure out what it is that you want, this is kind of, this is more than just in relationship though, I would say. This is almost like a soul journey that you need to take here. When you retreat from the world in hermit mode, this is a long period of solitude where you have to go and get very clear on what it is that you want. Go and get clear on where it is you are in your life right now. This relationship might have been good for you in the past, but you've moved on from that. Like you've grown, you've matured. This person, it doesn't seem like they have. So go within to find the answers for you, what is right for you. And then once you do find the answers, notice this light, you become a beacon of light for other people. You can help other people. Maybe that's just your girlfriends, or maybe that's just your guy friends. Why am I saying girlfriend? I think because this is generally read as a young man, but that doesn't, it doesn't necessarily have to be. It could be a young woman, but whatever it is, they're still young and immature, and you've grown. So go within, find out what is right for you, find out what you want to do next. And then this Eight of Cups talks about you going out to pursue it. You figuring out what it is that you want in romance, or it doesn't necessarily have to mean in romance. What would make you emotionally fulfilled. So that could be, going out and working in a third world country and helping them learn how to plant corn or something, whatever. I don't know. Or teaching them how to make potable water, or and the reason I'm talking about that humanitarian kind of thing is because of this Hermit card. It's very kind of a spiritual energy there. It's a humanitarian energy, the Virgos. Almost like the monks that go out, they get the solitude and stuff. I don't know, is that the Himalayan mountains there? Now I'm just reading stuff into the cards. Anyway. So yeah, this is talking about, now usually this Eight of Cups means you're leaving something that's really good emotionally to go out to pursue that Ninth Cup. Like you'll never be happy until you pursue that Ninth Cup. Kind of don't feel like you're leaving something that's emotionally good here. I mean, maybe when you go within, you might decide that you really do want to go to another country and do something, whatever, that feeds your soul. And that means that you have to leave a really cushy job or a really cushy home situation, whatever it is, it's really good, but you still have to go do it. You have to go pursue that Ninth Cup. So yeah, that's a no, but I do think that this no pushes you into a much better place on an emotional and a spiritual level eventually. I do feel like, as far as time frames concerned, because we do have the Virgo here, that's the end of August and the beginning of September. So for some of you, that might be when you take this retreat, or you decide, yeah, no, this is not going to work for me. I'm going to go within. I'm going to figure it out. So maybe at the end of this month or the beginning of the next month. Now, this is a timeless reading, so if you're watching it at another time, it still may be end of August, beginning of September, but that's just going to be for some of you. It could also be like 9 days, 9 weeks, 9 months, because the Hermit card is the number 9. You got the 8 here, so 8 or 9 months from now, you'll be going within, you'll be figuring it out, and you'll be in a place to go off to do that which you really want to do. For some of you, I would say whenever you're going within to figure out what you want to do, look back at your childhood and see what it was that you wanted to do when you were a child. See if that's still viable, if it's still something that you need to do, or if it's something different. But at least look at, do a scan through your childhood and see if there's something that you wanted to do at one time, but maybe this relationship derailed you from it. Or maybe just life derailed you from it. Maybe you go back to the beginnings. Kind of don't know which oracle I want to use. I think I do want to use the Sacred Traveler. I think for some of you, at least some of you, you're actually leaving the country that you live in and you're going to another country. All right, so just for the Sacred Traveler, what final messages do you have for pile 3? Final messages for pile 3. Oh, this is also a no if you were asking the question, is that person going to come back in? They're not going to come back. And you don't want them to, by the way. Wouldn't be good if they did, so that's just the universe looking out for you. All right, pile 3, what final messages do you have? Cleansing waters, purification activates vibrant life force. I love that. That's really pretty. So this card talks about the need to, kind of goes along with this going within stuff, retreating from the world and getting clear. This also is a way that people can kind of get clear. Sometimes that's like drawing a big old bubble bath and getting in it and just letting the cares of the world fade away. Sometimes that can be playing out in the rain if you need to, like, when we get bogged down in like a lot of serious stuff, sometimes we need to do something that's kind of childlike to just snap us back into the right frame of mind. It can talk about that. This can talk about going for a swim in the river, in the lake, in the ocean, whatever is around you, in the swimming pool, whatever is around you. This just talks about using water as a way to purify you and to give you a clean slate kind of thing. And then that way you can move forward, you can figure out where you need to go next. Okay, that's all I have for my pile 3s. Until next time, I'm sending you lots of light and love. Namaste. Welcome back, my friends. If you chose pile 4 for your yes or no pick a card reading, these are going to be your messages. Pile 4 did have that really smooth, beautiful citrine on it. So the first thing I will do here is get the yes or no. Sometimes people just, that's all they want to know, whether it's a yes or no, although I will warn you, sometimes it can be a maybe. And then after that, there's going to be an additional message. There's always a story in the cards, so I will tell the story that I am getting. Sometimes that is for the collective. Sometimes it'll be for 1 or 2 people. So just take what resonates and let the rest of it go. All right, so let's see what we got. You got the 2 of Pentacles, the 3 of Cups, and the Death card for the Rider Waite. And then for, that's not scary, by the way. And then for the Druid Craft Tarot, you got the Princess of Swords, the Prince of Cups, and the Feralt. Okay, so in the Druid Craft Tarot, this is like an alchemist, and it would be kind of associated with the Temperance card in the Rider-Waite deck. Okay. Guess what, y'all? You got the first maybe from these readings, and you have actually 2 cards of maybe for me. Temperance and the 2 of Pentacles. This is literally, if you look at that card, a card of maybe. I don't know. I can't quite figure it out. I just don't know. So we'll probably pull some cards here in a little bit to see what you could do to turn it into a yes, or what you could do to turn it into a no, depending on which way you want it to go. So, okay, so this is so, these two cards are so literally yes, no. This is like either this is a yes, and this has become something that you celebrate with your friends. It is a very happy card. It's a celebration. It can talk about, three people can talk about a birth. It can talk about a family. It can talk about just going out with your girlfriends or your buddies and celebrating some kind of victory or some kind of major event in your life. And then on the other side of the spectrum over here, we've got a definite no. It's like, no, this is ending. This is not going to be what's good for you. That's why it's ending. So then you will transform and you will move on to something else. But you got to let this end. The Feral talks about alchemy. It talks about blending a little bit of this and a little bit of that to create something that's new, that's exciting, that's different. It can talk about trying to balance things. And that's why when I get the Feral and the reading, it becomes a maybe for me, because it's, you know, this little of this, little of that. I don't know what is, you know, I just don't know. So first, let's ask the question, what is the maybe about? And this might help you decide if this is your reading or not. I think for some people, the maybe can be about a relationship between a young woman who is an air sign and a young man who is a water sign. Princess of Swords is, swords are air, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. If you're not familiar with the signs of the people, if you don't ask people, I always ask people what their sign is because I'm totally into the astrology. If you're not, so this young woman is a very mental and communicative and idealistic person. Those are the air signs, okay? They're very good. They love talking about ideas. They love talking about, you know, philosophies, just different ways of being. They just love thought. They just love ideas. They love thoughts. They love talking about, yeah, if you've got some kind of invention or something, they want to talk to you about it. They'd be fascinated with you, what you're cooking up, you know. They're very communicative. They love to communicate. They love to talk. They love comedy because, you know, that's just kind of their thing. When you're talking about air signs, you're just talking about mental gymnastics. I mean, okay, so that's what that kind of person would be. So then the gentleman, the young man here, is more emotional. It's a water sign. So that's Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. But if you don't know, again, what people's signs are, this is a young man who's very observant. They're a little bit mysterious. They're a little bit emotional. And what is so interesting about, okay, the water signs are very good at relating too. They're very good at relationship building and that kind of thing. So they could be like good PR people. What's interesting about this particular duo here, the Swords is all about the head, the Cups is all about the heart. So I think at least for some of you, it's a maybe about this relationship. Is it going anywhere? Are we going to go out? Is he going to ask me out? Is she going to ask me out? If we go out, is it going to be a good relationship? Does he dig me? Does she dig me? It's just a maybe. We just don't get to know right now. And these two being on opposite ends, head, heart, I think that's where that alchemy comes in. Like, it almost sounds like the question is, can we make this work? Because you do know that you're kind of opposite in this way. You're probably not opposite in all ways, by the way, because everybody has a lot of stuff going on in their chart, not just the sun sign, but also a moon sign and a ascendant, and Mars, which is your sexual energy, and Venus, which is your love energy. It all, it's all very complicated. It's not just sun sign energy when you're talking about relationships. However, you guys are probably, or seem to be, very into your element, so much that you have noticed, well, we kind of don't always see things the same way. Okay? So that's why you have come to this reading to find out, can this work? Can we blend this together and make this work? For some of you, that's going to be a yes. For some of you, it's going to be a no. For everybody who came here today, it's still a maybe. You just don't know which way it's going to go. So let's see if we can get some clarifiers. Okay. The reason it's a maybe because it just depends on if you want it or not. You can make anything work, right? All right, so let's start with okay, so let's start with this Three of Cups. What would turn it into a yes? Here's your relationship here, which I love. I think this is fun. This is a fun little reading here. Okay, and here's your maybe, I don't know. Okay, so here's your yes, here's your no. So let's get a clarifier on the Three of Cups and see what would turn it into a yes. What would turn this into a yes for my pile fours? What would turn it into a yes? Okay, you got the Five of Swords. Interesting. You got the Page of Swords. One more. And you got the Tower. Okay, that is interesting. I'm gonna have to sit with this for a minute. That's an interesting way to turn this into a yes. Hold on. Oh, I get it. Okay. There's a third party. There's somebody else that one of you guys is thinking about dating or has been dating or something. So what would turn this into a yes is if that crashes. Maybe this is not the best way to say this. If that crashes and burns, if whoever it is that has this other person, maybe a Taurus, cuts them out completely. If that goes away completely, that third party goes away, look, you got to be the winner. Walk away. Yeah. That's what turns it into a yes. That third party's got to go. You're not going to be able to see if this is going to work or not until that third party's gone. So, yeah, that's what you do to turn it into a yes. What happens to make it a no? Tell us what pile 4 needs to do to make this, for this to be a no. Tell us, because sometimes you want to know, right? You don't always, when you come ask the question, and it depends on how you ask the question, whether you want it to be a yes or no, right? So, what turns this into a no for pile 4? turns this into a no for pile 4? Turns this into a no for pile 4. Okay, you got the strength, the page of wands, and the 6 of wands. So all right. It seems to me like the no is a third party too. It's a third party situation too. I don't know what y'all got going on here, but this is getting a little convoluted. All right, so this becomes a no. Death to this relationship if one of you wins a fire sign. This is a Sagittarius for me. Could just be a fire sign. Those are people who are passionate, interesting, enthusiastic. They're usually interesting because they're very adventurous, which means they do a lot of stuff. So that gives them a lot to talk about. But the Six of Wands talks about a victory. It's about winning. So you win this person. Oh, you know what? The strength is major arcana for Leo. It does talk about tact and diplomacy. It does talk about feminine strength. And since this is a fire sign, this is fire sign, I think you could be dealing with any of the fire signs. Let's broaden that out to Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Okay. So what turns this into a no is if, oh my God, okay. I just picked up on something else. What turns this into a no is if one of you wins, I think wins. That's the only other way to say it. You got the winner, winner, chicken dinner here, and you've got the using tact and diplomacy to tame the beast here. I think what turns it into a no for this relationship is if one of you wins the fire sign, whichever one of you are looking at the fire sign. Okay, this is what, you guys are cracking me up. I don't think I've ever had a reading like this. This is cracking me up. You guys, I think, are anybody that's still in this reading, you guys are young and you're very much in the dating scene. Both of you. You're all in the dating scene. Okay. I feel like this turns into a yes if this feminine cuts out this masculine here. Notice that's a guy right there. The Taurus thing, that's a guy. Okay. So it turns into a yes if this goes away. Feminine cuts this third party out. Turns into a no if the masculine, the cup guy, right? Wins the heart of the fire sign. Does that make sense? I know it's convoluted. It's convoluted. This is all up to you. Whatever you guys decide to do with your relationships, with your relationship or the relationships, I think there's multiple on both sides. I think y'all are all, you're probably just very young. And when you're very young, you always have a lot of options for dating. You always have a lot of people in your life. You probably run in the same circles. You probably like this person and you like this person too. Maybe crushing on this one a little bit more. I think you guys are really wondering if this could work. You're kind of really trying to feel this out, but it's a maybe at this point. And I think to turn it into a yes, the young lady has to get rid of this earth sign. To turn it into a no, the young man is going to be winning the heart of the fire sign. So, you guys decide what you want to do with that information. And incidentally, Taurus is a earth sign. We got earth energy over here. We have fire energy here. We have cups energy here, and we have air here. We have water energy, air, earth, and fire. We got it all in this reading. So you guys just continue to be out there, continue to have fun, continue to date, continue to try to figure out which is the right person for you, because that's what you're supposed to be doing. I feel like you're at that age. That's what you're all about, and I love it. Oh my gosh, this was such a pleasant reading. I love this. It reminded me of when I was in my 20s. Okay. Because this is so fun, and I feel like it's very lighthearted. I don't think there's anything major is happening here. I just think it's just called life when you're dating in your 20s and maybe even in your 30s. Okay, so for the final words of wisdom, I want to get that from the Sedona Oracle deck. What final words of wisdom? This is the funnest deck that I have. It's the most fun and lighthearted. So what words of wisdom do you have for pile 4? What words of wisdom for pile 4? Heart's desire manifesting. Oh, that's so cute. Okay, you guys will get exactly what you want just as soon as you figure out what it is. There you go. It's all good. That's what I will say about this. Whatever your heart's desire is, that's what you're going to have from this reading. Okay, that's all I have for my pile 4s. Until next time, I'm sending you lots of light and love. Namaste. Welcome back, my friends. If you chose pile 5 for your yes or no pick a card reading, these are going to be your messages. Pile 5 did have the Sodalite on it. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is get the answer. Fine. From these cards, I will figure out if it is a yes or no. I will warn you, sometimes it is a maybe. So I will try to get a definitive answer first. And that way, if that's all you want to know, yes or no, then you can click off the video and go about your day. There's always a story in the cards as well. So I will tell the story that I am getting. And sometimes that is appropriate for the collective. It's just a very general story. Sometimes it can get very specific. So if it's not your reading, that's fine. Just go ahead and click off of it. Take what resonates and just let the rest of it go. All right, so for the Rider-Waite, I used the Radiant Rider-Waite today. You got the Hierophant. You got the 8 of Pentacles. You got the Ace of Pentacles and the 8 of Cups. That's 2 8s. Interesting. For the Druid craft, you got the 7 of Wands and you got the 3 of Cups. So this 7 of Wands, the 7 of Wands in the Rider-Waite is also about being in a defensive posture and having to defend your position. But this is it's so evident in this card, isn't it? Okay. This is a yes. And of all of the decks, or all of the piles that I had today, this is definitely the most business-oriented yes, the most work-oriented, the most career-oriented. I think some of you, okay, so if you asked if you're getting another job, you're definitely getting another job. I think some of you are being poached. I think some of you have mad skills. And some institution, big institution, can be a corporation, can be a hospital, can be why do I want to say library? That would be weird as an institution, isn't it? But, you know, it is government, maybe government institution. School, college. Some institution is coming along to offer you something in the way of a new job, a new career path. But it is because you have been working really hard on something that you truly love. You've become, what I would say, is an expert in your field. But you've done it through really, really working hard at it. You're so good at it because you love it. You chose the right career, and but you have gone through all the years of training and the apprenticeship and everything. But because you love it, you've just been working so hard at it, you don't notice the pinnacles is stacking up for you. I feel like it's already a lucrative career, but something even better is coming. I think you're being offered something really, really, really exciting in the way of a job. It's either a job, it's a business proposition. I don't think it's education. I think you've done all that. I think you've done all that work. I think it's a big company that is doing it, is doing the offering here. Maybe you've been working at something on your own. You struck out on your own, been being an entrepreneur, and this company is coming in and saying, well, you've really done well here. I'd like for you to come work for us. I do feel like some of you might already be working for somebody because you might have to defend your decision to go do this. Like maybe, now why would you have to defend you? Somebody offers you a job. Why would you have to defend your decision to take that job? Maybe you haven't been at this other job for very long and you have to convince them, boy, this is a really good opportunity. I cannot pass this up. Some of you might be contractually obligated to do something else or to something that you're working on right now. So you have to convince them that this is the right thing for you, and it's good for the company as well. It's good for whoever you're leaving behind as well. For some of you, I feel like this defensive posture here is that you have had to, in the past, defend your decision to work hard on this thing that you've been working hard on that now is becoming lucrative for you, because maybe you had to give up a good job and start from ground zero, go back to school or something, start from ground zero, because that kind of vibe comes up a lot with the Eight of Cups. The Eight of Cups talks about really being in a good place. 8 cups is really good. That's very fulfilled as a person. But there's this 9th cup that just keeps, it just keeps knocking at your door. There's this thing that you've always wanted to do, or something that you love so much, again, right? Something you love so much, you've always wanted to do it. And you feel like if you do not take the risk and go out there and look for that 9th cup, then you're going to regret it for the rest of your life. So this is kind of, for some of you people, this is like in a past position. You've really had to defend this decision to go pursue this when you did, but now it's paying off. It's paying off now. You got the 3 of Cups here, which talks about celebration. It talks about, it actually, you know, is a card of going out with your friends and celebrating something cool, like a new job coming into you or something. Or somebody, well, in this case, it's a new job. 3 of Cups can also talk about this new thing being with a group of people. Like you'll be working with a good team. You will have fun together. This will be a fun team for you to work on. But you're celebrating your success with other people, so at least somebody else. Maybe the people that were a little bit disappointed that you had to take so much time away from them to pursue this ninth cup. Could be family, could be your significant other and your kids or something. It could be just people that you had to take a bit of a time out from in order to pursue this, and now it's paying off. So they're going to help you celebrate this huge win that you have here. This is just a very big, very, very big yes for a new job, and being not. Some of you have applied for it, some of it you have not. Some of you have just been really working hard on that which you love, and now you're reaping the rewards from it. People are noticing you. They're noticing how good you are at what it is you've built here. Woo, that's exciting. Honestly, that's it. There's no other message here. So I'm going to go ahead and get an oracle to finish up. What oracle would be good for? This is just such a positive reading. Let's see. Let's get a Sacred Traveler, because you're definitely a mover and a shaker right now. So what is this all about? What final words of wisdom do you have for? Or final messages or anything. What else would you like to tell pile 5? What messages do you have for pile 5? What messages for pile 5? Anything else for pile 5? Joy and delight. Open your heart to joy. Wow. Okay, so it just gets better and better, doesn't it? This particular new job is going to bring you a lot of joy. You're really digging this job. It feeds your soul. It's more than just a job. It's more than just money. It's feeds your soul. It's that which you have been pursuing for a long time because it's what you love. So it's like the Holy Grail, actually, of jobs. It's the Holy Grail. So, wow. This is the best reading of all of these. This is really cool. And, it's particularly for business, for work and business and career. Wow, nice. Okay. So that's all I have for my pile 5s. Until next time, I'm sending you lots of light and love. Namaste.